afternoon, everyone, and welcome to State Living. We're here today with Tsebo's Catering Sales Director, Gakeem Satira, and we really want to unpack and understand what Tsebo's Catering Division offers, community management schemes, and where the opportunity lies. We've all heard about Tsebo's integrated services, and let's find out more about what those services are and where the benefits are. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Louise. Thank you for taking the time to obviously have a conversation with me. I'm really happy to be here.
I can see we're all still working from home. Are you permanently at home, or are you sort of working between home and office?
At the moment, permanently at home until all the offices are properly set up in terms of COVID friendly. Once that is done, we'll probably interact between the office and home.
Absolutely. I think that's the way most businesses are going to be running.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at what, bearing in mind, we're now moving into a sort of the COVID era. Hopefully it won't be as long as an era. And what catering and what role catering services play within that. But perhaps we could start off with an overview of what Tsebo's Catering Division offers community management or can offer community management.
Yeah. So broadly speaking, we facilitate contract catering, where we either come in as the new service provider, or we convert from a facility or an estate or a retirement village being self-managed, and then us coming in to manage the facility. What we generally do is, depending on where we are busy with, is within estates, generally speaking, there's always a request with regards to feeding the staff, because sometimes the estates wants to feed their residents themselves. Alternatively, we can also feed the residents as well as feeding the staff. Very importantly is also within the estates, you find that there's a great need to still have a social element, of which the clubhouses becomes a big part of where we facilitate a role, whether it is we facilitate market days, or whether it is just to create an environment where people can come together and engage. I'll go for it, Louise.
No, continue.
Yeah. Our solution is generally taking care of either a la carte, or we would have predetermined menus, which we obviously run from a menu cycle, which we share with client. But all of that is given to us by the client so that we may ensure that we provide a solution that perfectly matches their needs. So a lot of what we do from a catering perspective comes from the brief that we would get from our clients, and they would clearly indicate to us what it is that they require. And being a solutions-driven business, we then develop a solution specifically on the client's requirements.
So in the case where there is an existing clubhouse infrastructure, whether it's an existing estate or a new development, would Tsebo come in and actually run the restaurant in its entirety, provide all the staffing solutions, and run the management of the restaurant on a day-to-day basis? Or are you only providing the staffing solutions to management?
Well, we provide a full turnkey solution. Providing staff lends us more towards just providing people. So we generally, being a catering business, we come in providing the meals, designing the meals, all in line with the client, but taking full responsibility for the entire process. Having said that, we also understand that sometimes clients want to have own the management structure, and then the staff running the facility would then report into that, which is what we call a hybrid model. And there's also different financial models in which we contract with clients. So if you are asking me to come and run your clubhouse, you will obviously give me the outline with regards to what are your key requirements, in terms of what it is that you expect of me. Are you expecting me to run the full kitchen? Are you expecting me just to provide a service and all the costs are absorbed by you? Or are you expecting me to bring in all the necessary equipment to ensure that it's a fully compliant kitchen as well?
And I think, yeah, that was going to be my next question is, are you supplying the infrastructure? If an estate has just, or a development has just been built and they've got the shell, would you come in with all of the equipment and the staff and fully equip the kitchen area and then maintain it? And would that spill over into the restaurant as well, with the chairs, tables and infrastructure required in a restaurant? Everything?
Definitely, Louise. I mean, again, it's all relative to what the client is asking of us. If you've only got a shell and there's a significant request with regards to investing in making a fully fledged kitchen as well as a fully turnkey operation, it's all got to do with how much capital outlay there is, as well as the term of the contract. If your expectation is for us to come in and provide a full turnkey solution, the term of the contract then obviously plays a very big role, as well as the participation of the residents to ensure all the monies obviously can be recouped from the contract itself.
Yeah, we find that often a restaurant can either be closed, so it's for the community only, or it's open to the general public. And I think as running restaurants becomes more and more expensive and people are becoming more aware of their levy structure, that opening up restaurants and giving a restaurant a bit more numbers and feet, bums in seats and feet through the door becomes more and more important. If Tsebo has taken over the management of the restaurant, is that also important to them, that you have the numbers, or is it a slightly different structure to your contract?
It is very important to have the numbers, because if we're looking at a residential village with, let's say, 500 people, generally speaking, what we find within contract catering, we've got an average participation of about 30%. So if we've got 100 people, that's 30 people making use of the facility. So the numbers are definitely a key point in terms of how we go about. What we've done, or what we generally do within the retirement villages space, is a lot of the meals are contracted in the levies, thus obviously securing your participation and ensuring that you can obviously run a business at minimum at a break-even level. So therefore, then it is your responsibility then as the supplier or the caterer to ensure that you increase those participations by either running functions or social events, etc., to try and encourage people to make use of the facility.
Have you found that your services have spilled over into conferencing as well? We have several estates that have got a conferencing offer. And although I'm sure the nature of conferencing will change in the coming months, or has already changed, and it might be a little bit more of a hybrid model, there will still be an element of that face-to-face. Would you then include catering for conferencing purposes as well?
Correct. So what we generally do is we will have the main contract that outlines how we deal with you or how we partner on this journey. And then we'll also have a functions element. And in that functions element, we will clearly outline what type of functions, what are the timelines to that, so that obviously we ensure that we procure all the necessary requirements that you expect of us.
Currently in the estate industry, there are a few key caterers that we see across the country. Why should an estate manager or trustees change their caterers to Tsebo Catering?
I think it's the question around the devil you know versus the devil you don't. I think just from a catering space, I mean, Tsebo was founded on the back of FedEx, who's been around for more than 47 years within catering. And from the catering division birthed a lot of other divisions, such as hygiene, cleaning, security, as well as even facilities. So with Tsebo as a group, with regards to catering, you get a full turnkey operation that just does not just take care of your catering, but it can also take care of maintaining your property or the estate itself, or the protection of its people. I think what is very important to us as well is we are governed by our goods manufacturing practices to ensure that all the sites, facilities, or estates that we run are fully compliant, to ensure that, one, we give clients nutritional value, menus that are not stale, and obviously also always ensuring that we've got the right quality staff that can be able to relate with the specific clientele. So therefore, we would have different staff requirements for when we recruit for the health sector, different requirements for when we're in manufacturing, and definitely a different requirement for managing an estate.
And how exciting are your menus? You know, people's tastes change frequently. One of the big things is everyone's on a bit of a health drive. Are you catering for vegetarians, pescatarians, fruitarians? So is there any limits to what you don't cater for? Probably is a shorter answer.
The sky's the limit, Louise. There's absolutely no gaps in terms of what we cater for. What we generally do is we engage with the client to understand the demographics of its residents in the event of an estate, so that we clearly understand what the needs are. And then menus are obviously then customized and in line with and approved by our dietitians to ensure we've got the right nutritional value, as well as the right menu that appeals to the customers or the residents of a specific estate. So everything with us it's very open-ended, and you participate fully in the process to ensure that we actually provide you a service that you require, because we are not just trying to cater, we're trying to be an extension of who you are as an estate. So it is very important that we meet all the necessary requirements you as a client will obviously pre-describe to us.
And I know that Tsebo's got a very large footprint in the hotel industry. Perhaps you could, and I'm sure there are many lessons learned within hospitality that you can bring to the table when it comes to community living spaces. What are some of the larger groups that you're working with at the moment from a hotel, within the hotel arena?
Yeah, I mean, interesting enough, we are currently working with the City Lodge Group, and not to cater for its clients, but also because they are COVID facilities. We partner with Tsebo from a cleaning perspective, and then there is also the Protea Hotel Group that we partner with. I mean, those are just a few of some of the hotel groups that we're currently engaging with, and this is across all the different divisions, not just specifically catering. So definitely.
And in your experience, having a good caterer who is making interesting and dynamic meals, and I know it's a difficult question to ask because residential community spaces are slightly different, but how have you seen catering affect consumer sentiment and the relationship that those customers have with that environment? And perhaps your retirement space would be a good indication, a good comparison for us when we look at communities. What value does it bring?
Yeah, I think food is quite essential because it's extremely emotive. So it is very important that you appeal to your clientele. What we generally do is when we engage clients, we go on a cycle menu that we propose, a 4-week cycle or a 2-week cycle, depending on your requirements. We test that and we get engagement with the residents as well to feedback on what they would like to see and how we can customize to improve their experience. So it's very important that for us as a caterer or a provider of food, that we actually listen more to our clients than what we propose in terms of what we need. So in a nutshell, I need to understand clearly what your requirements are, but also I need to understand why you have those specific requirements in order for me to cater to that.
Absolutely, sure. It's quite a so surveying the clients and understanding the market becomes part of the services that you offer from a
Very
catering
important.
perspective. And
That's good.
where do you see the role of Tsebo Catering in the next, in the coming months and years? Do you see yourselves taking a leadership role within the residential community market?
Yeah, we are definitely step changing. I mean, I think if I just take it a step back, I mean, COVID has brought so many more opportunities as much as it's scary. But we are definitely re-energizing our solutions with regards to what clients want. We are definitely looking forward to not just compete, but to start setting the trends in terms of where we believe food can take our clients and making sure that we're taking our clients on their journey with us. We've also appointed a culinary director just to ensure that there's an emphasis and a highlighted focus on food and not just as food as a service. So I think, like I've said here, it is very important for us to be an extension of who you are, as opposed to saying, this is FedEx and this is what we will do for you. What we are FedEx, tell us what you want, and we will customize that for you. I mean, FedEx is one of the brands that we obviously use within our retirement space or within our estate space. But we've also got different brands and banners under which we operate in order to appeal to the right clientele.
Okay, that's very interesting. So you have multiple divisions within your division, depending on what services you're rendering.
Correct.
And is an important part of your offering to include both the residents themselves, but also to create menus and assist with a staffing solution? I know you mentioned it early, so you could provide catering for the ground staff, the office staff, the management teams, and all of the complementary staff, and then obviously facilities for them as well. Have you had an opportunity to look at the student accommodation space? Is that an area of interest to Tsebo?
It's definitely a big interest. We've just partnered with WITS, and we are taking care of the students there. There's also quite a few other schools that we participate with, of which KES is one. We've been there for years as well. So it's definitely an extremely important focus area for us to ensure, specifically within schools, if anything, to ensure that we give those students the right nutrition, obviously to ensure from an educational perspective, they've got the right nutrients to help them focus better and study better, to give them the right nutrients for their sports. So again, all relative to what it is that we are looking for or what it is that we are working with. I guess if it is a sport facility, our nutrition develop meals specifically that caters for the age group and the type of sports that those potential students are playing. So definitely boarding schools is one of the biggest focus areas for us, because we want to ensure that students are definitely getting the right nutrition.
I'm just thinking about sport on a residential community. It's probably mostly golf. So all you need to really do is provide beer and a burger. And I think it shouldn't be. I don't think nutrition is high on the agenda in the golfing, golfing community. No, that's excellent. I just wonder, off the top of your head, how many meals a day does Tsebo provide? I mean, is it even quantable?
It is in the millions. I speak under correction. I think we're talking about 2 million meals a day.
That's unbelievable. Sure.
Across the business. So but don't hold me to that.
Thank you so much for joining me today and just unpacking a little bit of what Tsebo's catering division offers. And we'll be very excited to see how it unfolds in the coming months and how estates take on these services and this experience that you have in the market.
Thank you for your time, Louise.